In this section, we take an important concept of physics, that is laser. It is one of the outstanding inventions of the 20th century. In the beginning, we start with the introduction of lasers, and then we take a quantum theory of radiation given by Einstein, and he gives a three process which takes place in a laser. The first process is absorption, and second one is spontaneous emission, and third one is your stimulated emission. Let us study the concept of lasers in detail. The word laser stands for the light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. It is also one of the important source of light which emits an intense, monochromatic, directional and highly coherent beam of light. The important characteristics of a laser beam are: the first property is directionality. It means a laser emits light only in one direction. The second property of the laser is its high intensity. Laser beam intensity would be tremendously large and it stays constant with a distance. The third property is coherence. In a laser, a large number of identical photons are emitted through the stimulated emission, and therefore they will be in a same phase with each other. And the last property is monochromatic. A light coming from the laser has only one frequency. It means it is having a single wavelength. The light is said to be monochromatic and the source is said to be monochromatic source. Its working depends on the phenomena of stimulated emission, which is first predicted in the year 1916, when the radiation interact with matter, that is atom, and atoms are characterized by the energy levels. As you can see in the first diagram, the first level of the energy is ground level, that is ground state, and as you go up you can see the different types of levels, and these levels are called as excited level or excited state. In these levels, the atoms are distributed on the basis of their energy. In the ground state, the energy of this state is low, and atoms which are present in these levels are having low energy. And as you rises up, the energy of the state is rises, and atoms energy is also rises to stay in these levels. For simplicity, we consider only two energy levels. One is ground level, which is having energy E1, and the N1 is the number of atoms which are present in this level are 5. As you can see in the diagram, the other one is the excited level, which is having energy E2, and N2 is the number of atoms in this level is only 2. As you can see in the diagram, usually the number of atoms in the ground level is large as compared to the atoms which are present in the excited level, that is N1 is greater than the N2. In the diagram, N1 is the number of atoms present in the ground level, and the energy of the ground level is denoted as E1, where N2 is the number of atoms present in the excited level, and the energy of the excited level is E2. The population of the atoms in the level E1 and E2 are N1 and N2. In the diagram, atom or electron are present in the ground state. When we give an energy to the atoms or electron in the form of incident photon, where photon is nothing but it is a packet of energy, and the energy of the photon is E is equals to h nu, as you can see in the diagram, where delta E is nothing but energy of the photon, that is h nu, where h is the Planck's constant and nu is the frequency of the incident photon. Atom absorb this photon energy and jump to the excited state. As you see in the diagram, atoms or electron is present in the excited state after absorbing the photon energy. The energy of the incident photon is calculated by difference of the energy of ground level, that is E1, and excited level, that is E2. The difference between these energy level gives the photon energy. E2 minus E1, that E2 minus E1 gives you photon energy, that is h nu, as you can see in the diagram. Once the atom reaches to the excited state, after some time it comes down to the lower energy state with the emission of photon. The emission may be spontaneous or stimulated as predicted by Einstein. In the spontaneous emission, as you can see in the diagram, only a single photon is released. But in the stimulated emission, two photons are coming out. Let us study these three processes of Einstein in detail. The first process is absorption. Suppose an atom is in the lower energy level, that is E1. When photon is incident on the atom, photon gives its energy to the atom and it disappears. Once the atom absorbs photon energy, it jumps to the excited state, that is E2. This transition is called as absorption transition. It is also referred to induced absorption. E2, which is higher energy state, as you see in this diagram, before absorption, atom is in the lower energy state, that is ground state. After absorption of photon energy, atom is present in the higher energy state. In the second process, that is spontaneous emission, when an atom is excited to a higher energy level, it cannot stay in the excited state for a long time. It stays there for a short duration of 10 raised to minus 8 seconds, and it comes down to the lower energy state, that is E1, by its own emitting a photon of frequency h nu, as you can see in the diagram. In the third process, that is stimulated emission, atoms which is present in the excited state transmit to the lower energy state. It emits a photon. That photon induces another atom to emit a second photon which is present in the excited state. That atom also emits a photon of same frequency, direction, phase and polarization as the incident photon. The outstanding feature of this process is the multiplication of photons. One photon induces an atom to emit a second photon. Now we have two photons. These two photons excited two more atoms in excited state and generate two more photons and produce a total of 4 photons. These 4 photons interact with 4 more excited atoms and generate 4 photons. A total of 8 photons will be available and so on. So this is the important process in the laser, that is stimulated emission. Now we have to study the Einstein's coefficient. According to Einstein, in 1916, when a radiation interacts with matter, three processes takes place. The first process is the stimulated or induced absorption. In this process, when a photon is having an energy is incident on an atom which is present in a lower energy level, atoms or electrons absorb this photon energy and it jumps to the upper energy level. This rate of stimulated or induced absorption, that is written as capital R means rate and stimulated absorption is written as capital ST, where capital ST means stimulated, where capital A stands for the absorption. So rate of stimulated or induced absorption, that is RSTA, is directly proportional to the number of atoms which is present in the lower energy level, that is ground state level. So it is directly proportional to the N1. The rate of stimulated absorption is also directly proportional to the energy density of the incident photon, where E is the energy density and nu is the frequency of the radiation. So rate of stimulated absorption is directly proportional to the E nu. From the above two equations, the rate of stimulated absorption is directly proportional to N1 multiplied with E nu. The rate of stimulated absorption is equals to, when we take out the constant of proportionality, now we have to write it as capital B12. That capital B12 is the coefficient of proportionality and it is called as Einstein coefficient for stimulated absorption, which is taken from the level 1 to the level 2, means ground level to excited level. The rate of stimulated absorption is equals to B12, that is multiply with N1 and it is also multiply with E nu. So this is the equation 1. In the spontaneous emission, we know the concept. When an atom absorbs the sufficient energy from the photon, it jumps to the excited state. But in the excited state, that atom does not remain for a longer time. It comes down to the lower state with the emission of photon. The rate of spontaneous emission is directly proportional to the number of atoms present in the excited level. So that's why I have written N2. The rate of spontaneous emission is directly proportional to N2. When we take out the constant of proportionality, it is replaced by A21. It is called as Einstein coefficient for spontaneous emission, which is taken from the level 2 to level 1, that is excited level to ground level. In the stimulated emission, one incident photon induces an atom to emit a second photon. In the stimulated emission, multiplication of the photons takes place as studied in the stimulated process. The rate of stimulated emission is written as RSTE, where R stands for the rate, ST stands for the stimulated, and capital E stands for the emission, is directly proportional to the number of atoms present in the excited level. The rate of stimulated emission is also directly proportional to the energy density of the incident photon, that is E nu. From the above two equation, the rate of stimulated emission is directly proportional to the N2, which is multiplied with the E nu. When we take out the constant of proportionality, the rate of stimulated emission is equals to B21 multiplied with N2, and it is again multiplied with E nu. So this is the equation number 3. Where B21 is the constant of proportionality and it is called as Einstein coefficient for the transition which is taken from the level 2 to level 1. Equation 1 corresponds to the absorption. Equation 2 corresponds to the spontaneous emission. Equation 3 stands for the stimulated emission. In thermodynamic equilibrium, it says that atom is sent to the excited state from the ground state with the help of absorption of photon. But atom comes down to the ground state from the excited state with the process of spontaneous and stimulated emission of photon. It means that the rate of stimulated absorption is equals to the rate of spontaneous emission plus rate of stimulated emission. Using equation 1, 2 and 3 in the equation 4, we get B12 N1 E nu is equals to A21 N2 plus B21 N2 E nu. Take this B21 N2 E nu into the left hand side. It becomes B12 N1 E nu minus B21 N2 E nu is equals to A21 N2. Take E nu common from the above term. E nu is equals to B12 N1 minus B21 N2 is equals to A21 N2. Take B12 N1 minus B21 N2 to the denominator of the right hand side. It becomes E nu is equals to A21 N2 whole divided by B12 N1 minus B21 N2. E nu is equals to A21 N2 whole divided by, from the denominator term, take common B21 N2. It becomes B21 N2 in the bracket B12 N1 whole divided by B21 N2 minus 1. N2 get cancelled out. Then E nu is equals to A21 whole divided by B21 in the bracket B12 N1 whole divided by B21 N2 minus 1. So this is your equation number 5. According to the Maxwell's Boltzmann distribution law, it says that when the atoms which are distributed in the ground level and excited level are in the ratio of N1 divided by N2 is equals to e raised to e2 minus e1 whole divided by kBT. In the equation, e2 minus e1 is the energy of the photon, that is h nu. So e2 minus e1 replaced by h nu. n1 divided by n2 is equals to e h nu whole divided by kBT. So this is your equation number 6. Using equation 6 in 5 we get E nu is equals to A21 whole divided by B21 multiply with 1 divided by B12 divided by B21 in place of N1 by N2. Now we have to write it as E h nu whole divided by KBT minus 1. So this is your equation number 7. Equation 7 is the energy density of the incident radiation according to the Einstein. But according to the Planck's radiation law, the energy density of the incident radiation is written as 8 pi h nu cube whole divided by c cube multiply with 1 divided by E h nu divided by kBT minus 1. E nu is equals to 8 pi h nu cube whole divided by c cube multiply with 1 divided by 1 multiply with E h nu whole divided by kBT minus 1. So this is your equation number 8. Compare equation 7 and 8. In place of A21 divided by B21, we have 8 pi h nu cube divided by c cube, and in place of B12 whole divided by B21 we have 1, that is B12 is equals to B21. So this is all about the Einstein's coefficients in different process.